Hey, how are you guys? Thanks for checking in. Let's roll into our next lesson here. We're going to keep on keeping on in Unit 7. So this is obviously Unit 7, lesson number 3. I'm going to break this lesson into 2 separate videos. We're just going to take our time and kind of walk through this. It would be too much to do in one video. So this is called video number 1. The concept we're working on today is called multiplying binomials. I love multiplying binomials. I like it. And you know what? I think you're going to like it too. Here's why I like it. Here's why you're going to like it. And here's why you're going to probably always remember this. I'm going to teach you something called FOIL method today. Maybe a few of you have already heard of it. I'm guessing most of you have not. FOIL, F-O-I-L. FOIL method stands for first, outer, inner, last. And that is the order in which you are going to be multiplying binomials. You'll see what I mean here in a minute. Chances are, if you find an adult anywhere in the world who once upon a time took Algebra 1, and you ask them if they remember FOIL method, they will be able to tell you, oh yeah, first, outer, inner, last. It's just kind of something that sticks with you over time. So let me show you multiplying binomials using FOIL method. Oh, and don't make fun of my fingernails. How atrocious is this? Oh, well. What are you going to do? It's a pandemic, you know, it's global. All right. So these are problems with a binomial times another binomial, right? It has 2 terms that makes it a binomial, 2 terms, binomial, and they're being multiplied together, hence the parentheses. So in order to keep track of which term is being multiplied by which term over here and, you know, making sure everybody gets multiplied together, we follow this first, outer, inner, last, this FOIL technique. So when we talk about the first terms, that would be this x times this x. The first term in this binomial times the first term in this binomial. This is the f. So then ask yourself, what is x times x? X squared. Okay? Now we're going to do the O. That stands for the outer terms. What do you suppose the outer terms are? Happens to be this x and that 4. So you're going to multiply this x, this is going to get a little sloppy, times that 4. That is the O. Outer terms. What's x times 4? 4x. Happens to be positive. Next up, I, inner. If you're looking at these terms, which ones do you suppose are the inner terms? I hope you said the 2 and the x. So now we're going to take this 2 times this x, right there, those 2 inner terms, 2 times x, there's no way to write this, but that's the I. I'm kind of out of room here. I should have done this on a separate piece of paper. And what's 2 times x? Positive 2x. And last is last. L stands for last. What are the last terms? Well, this 2 is the last term in that binomial, and this 4 is the last term in that binomial. So we're going to take this 2 times this 4, and that's the L. And what's 2 times 4? 8. Now, we look to see if we have any like terms that can be combined, and the answer is yes, we sure do in the middle, right? A positive 4x and a positive 2x, those guys can go together. So I rewrite this in standard form. I'm going to have x squared, that does not change. Positive 4x plus 2 more x, that makes positive 6x, and then there's the plus 8. First, outer, inner, last. First, outer, inner, last, okay? Let's do another. Let's do number 2. All right. What are the first terms? Well, those are the y's. So maybe I'll do it this way. First equals y times y, which is y squared. Outers, that would be the y and the 1, this y and that 1. Y times 1 is plus 1y. Inner, that would be the 5 here and the y there. So plus 5y. And L stands for last. That would be this 5 and that 1. Last, positive 5, positive 1 is a positive 5. So those are your answers to first, outer, inner, last. So now if I write it in standard form, realizing I have to put these two like terms together, I end up with y squared plus 6y plus 5. There it is in standard form. Okay? Let's do some with negatives. Let's jump over here and grab number 6. Let's do that one. Here we go. First is x times x. Outers, x times 8. Inners, negative 1 times x is negative 1x. And last, negative 1 times 8 is negative 8. So now we put those two like terms together there in the middle. So I've still got x squared plus 8x minus 1x is plus 7x, and then minus 8. There you go. You multiply binomials using FOIL method. Let's do some more with negatives. Let's try number 8. Change colors here. Ready? First, outer, inner, last. First, x times x. Outers, x times negative 4. Inners, negative 10 times x. And last, negative 10 times negative 4 is positive 40. Combine those like terms in the middle. We have x squared minus 14x plus 40 in standard form. Awesome. I'm trying to decide, who else should we do? Down below here, they start picking some. Let's do 15. I like this guy. We'll do that one. FOIL method. First, 4x times 7x, 28, x squared. Outer, 4x times negative 2y. Well, 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, and x and y makes xy. Inners, a y times a 7x is plus 7xy. Remember, alphabetical with your variables. And last is this y times a negative 2y. So that's negative 2y squared. Okay, I see like terms in the middle. 28 x squared minus 8xy plus 7xy makes minus 1xy, and minus 2y squared does not change. And this happens to be in standard form, right? You focus on the alphabetical part of your variables, and from there, this x with a 2 is more powerful than this x with a 1. So he comes next, and then this plain old y by himself, he would be last. Okay? Let's just do 2 more. Could we do, well, maybe 3. I don't know. What should we do? Let's do 3. So many. I like 16. I like 16 only because it has a lot of negatives in it. Could always use practice with negatives. Here we go. First, outer, inner, last. If I don't drop my marker, which I almost just did. Oh, by the way, I apologize if you can hear my dishwasher running, but I am in my kitchen, and that's life. Here we go with 16. 8h times 3h is 24h squared. Outers, 8h times -1, -8h. Inners, -3 times 3h is -9h. And last, -3, -1, when you multiply that makes +3. Put those middle terms together. Oops, that's a 3. Oh, geez, now it's messy. Darn. Sorry, there, that's a 3. Good job. Now, the other two that I want to do are, down here along the bottom, because these look a little different, but they're really not. They just look a little weird. Believe it or not, this is a binomial times another binomial. And do you see why? See that exponent of 2 up there? So when you see a binomial squared, here's what it means. You already know what this means, but I'm going to show you for sure. Right? It just means x plus 4 times another x plus 4. So it's still FOIL method, first, outer, inner, last, which is a little difficult to see when it's only written like this. So I would suggest you spread it out into 2 separate binomials so that you can follow FOIL method. First is going to be x squared. Outer is plus 4x. Inner plus another 4x. And last is plus 16. And those like terms in the middle go together. I think you're probably catching on by now. And standard form, good to go. Let's do one. I want to do this one because there's a negative involved, and why not? So 2m minus 5, that whole quantity squared. Here's what it means. Okay. First, outer, inner, last. First. Outer. Inner. Last. So obviously when there are negatives involved, you really need to pay attention to, are you multiplying 2 negatives to make a positive? Or are you multiplying 1 negative and 1 positive, which would make a negative? Gotta watch those signs. Combining these 2 middle terms, bringing along that last piece, and there we go with our final answer. All right, so again, this is only part of Unit 7, Lesson 3. In a few days, you will do the second part of this lesson, where we're going to take a binomial like this times a trinomial. So it'll have 3 pieces here, and that gets a little interesting to keep track of. But that's definitely where we are headed with this. I hope you're doing well. I hope this isn't too overwhelming. Do not hesitate to email me. I can always walk you through a few of these on Google Meet if need be. Take care, and thanks for all your hard work so far.